Hey, double hey, San Francisco Bay, Monterey. My name's Alexandrew.
And I'm Dr. Shasta Tierra.
And we're here with your Healthy Living Show. Today, we got a great guest. We're going to have a good time.
Yes, one of my favorite people. I've known her for almost 20 years, Janel Waldschmidt.
Yes, and it's kind of cool because we have another Waldschmidt. A strange name that we're hearing twice on this show within the last month. I love it.
They are a true power couple. I was at their wedding.
Well,
I was at their wedding.
It helps to know that they're married, too. That's kind of cool. Otherwise, it'd be like, really, the Waldschmidts? Maybe we live in Germany. I'm not sure where, right?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
They have the 3 studios. And
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Kevin helps 1,000 people.
Karate.
With the karate, the kids, the adults, the teens.
Right.
And Janel has a Pilates and a trauma release therapy center.
Yeah, and it's going to be really cool because there's some, what we cover here at KIYS, which everybody knows stands for Kindness in Your Soul, right?
Yeah.
This is about bringing everybody together, kind of getting rid of the polarity that we have in the world today. And speaking of bringing things together, I hear you got a new bow.
Oh, I do not have a new bow.
A bow?
But you just had to bring that up, didn't you? You just want to try to embarrass me. I want one, but I'm waiting for the right one.
Remember, we're on the air now. She wants a bow. A bow. What's the bow?
I want somebody who makes me happy.
Well, don't we all? And you know what? You deserve it. Dr. Shasta, the kind of business you do, you're out helping people feel better, helping people have children, helping us here on the show, helping everybody with all the different subjects we have here on KIYS
I just want
Radio.
a kind-hearted person who loves me and loves God. Is that too much to ask for these days?
You know what? And I think there's a lot of people out there. Believe you me, I know there's people out there right now, so be careful. We're not putting her number on the air, just so you know. But... But you know what? And relationships are different, because I was married for over 20 years, and we had a great relationship, and we just decided, hey, you know what? We're moving in different directions, and it was so nice to be able to say, hey, you know what? Let's just look in different directions, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I've been really actually having a good time by myself and learning how to love myself.
And there's something to
deeper
say.
Than I ever have, and I'm really okay with it.
That's really killer.
Yeah.
I think that's important. When you get to that lonely, desperate point, a lot of people have that victim mentality. That's when it starts to really. That's a very slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
If you're single out there, make sure that you just find yourself, be okay.
Date yourself.
You know what? I do have one thing to say on this because this is how I found my better half, Gretchen.
Yes.
Write everything down you want in a mate. Yeah. Everything.
I do. I have my 10 must-haves and 10 can't-stands.
Yes, I had 27, and then she ended up being 25 of the 27, and just stumbled in. And it's amazing when you write it down because you open your eyes to it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a great show, but first we're gonna do our fun little news segment, News to Muse, with McKenna Ray. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, this is McKenna Ray, and welcome to the KIYS News to Amuse, where we like to share stories with you that'll make you smile, laugh, and just enjoy the spontaneity of life. Now, with a lot of the up-and-coming innovations, there's been a little bit of concern of robots eventually replacing some of our jobs. Recently, in Pisa, Italy, we saw a bot kind of start to do exactly that. Swiss robotics company ABB created a conducting robot that they call Yumi. Yumi is a 2-armed robot that has the mobility in its wrists, elbows, and shoulders. It learns by imitating and internally records, so then, when it is turned on during a performance, it plays its memorized movements. The conductor who taught it everything it knows goes by the name of Andrea Colombini. Although the performance was a great success for Yumi's first try at an orchestra, Colombini does admit that she does not feel her job is at risk, because although it does a great job conducting an orchestra and not really recognizing if a violinist, for example, misses a note, the difference is real music comes from the heart, and that is something that a robot can never replicate. We've got an observational study for you as well. As yoga and meditation becomes a lot more popular lately here in the U.S., we've been seeing it all over Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Plenty of yogis are popping up out of nowhere, and they are real good. Not only have they become more flexible and more talented with these other acro tricks that they're capable of doing, but researchers are saying that yoga and meditation is really improving brain activity and healthier living. Scientists gathered 31 healthy people and required them to practice about 25 minutes of yoga or meditation a day. That included hatha yoga, mindful meditation, and quiet reading. Observations afterwards showed that these people experienced higher levels of energy, more mindfulness, and more control over their emotions and thoughts. And that's something that I know quite a few people could definitely use in their life. Hatha yoga and mindful meditation forces you to focus on limited things at a time, such as your breathing or isolated movements, and these practices on your brain allow you to apply that in your daily life. So, it's no wonder that yoga and meditation are becoming so much more popular on our social media, something that in general definitely needs to be calmed down. Speaking of needing to calm down, here's a good one for all you wine drinkers out there. A startup from Texas, known as Pure Wine, has created a disposable device that they call the wand. It's a new innovation that can cure your hangover or stop it before it really even starts. With the use of this wand, by stirring it in your glass of wine for 3 minutes, the wand filters out 95% of histamines and sulfites, which are the main things that cause your hangover the next day. Without these things in your wine, you can enjoy it and wake up in the morning feeling just as refreshed as you always would. This company is also working on creating a spout that will filter while you pour. So instead of waiting those extra 3 minutes before you drink, you can pour it and drink right away. Although there are some skeptics saying that those who have allergic reactions to wine won't be saved by this wand, it definitely could be the savior for many other people. In fact, those who haven't been able to enjoy wine for many years now have a wonderful opportunity in front of them to be able to have their 1 to 2 plus glasses of wine in the evening if they so wish, and wake up ready for the next day. So drink on, because a glass a day keeps the doctor away. And that may or may not be for apples, but I'm going to pretend it's for wine. Grapes, apples, same thing. This has been McKenna Ray with the KIYS Radio Network. Join us next week for more stories.
I do traditional Chinese medicine, and that includes 5 different branches: acupuncture, massage, yoga, tai chi, qigong, herbal medicine, and nutrition. It is amazing in helping the body heal itself, that it releases the body's natural endorphins, serotonin, and seems to rebalance the hormones of the body.
Lower back pain was taken care of very quickly. 6 treatments and I was pain-free. And this was like 3 years ago, and I've remained pain-free.
I've grown up in the Bay Area, and I have had my own practice for over 15 years. When I was 12, I decided I want to be an acupuncturist, and by the time I was 25, I was licensed.
I have thyroid condition and stress, big time. When I walk out, I'm feeling like a whole different person. It's definitely a blessing to be able to come here.
I love helping women have babies, and the day that they actually get pregnant, the look in their eye is like, it's the best thing ever.
I've been struggling trying to get pregnant for the past 3 or 4 years. I came to Shasta. I would totally recommend her to anyone out there that is trying to get pregnant. She will do great for you.
Way of wellness has to do with living a life that keeps us well.
Hi there, this is Alexandrew with It's All About the Show. You know, I've been with Money Concepts since 1994, and they have been the primary catalyst for my success as a financial advisor. If you're looking for a career change and you want to help people for a living, check out moneyconcepts.com/ALEE or call 946-8378 today. Hey, double hey, San Francisco Bay, Monterey. We're back with your Healthy Living Show. My name's Alexandrew.
And I'm
Dr. Shasta Tierra.
And we're here with our guest today. What a great guest.
Oh my gosh, she's one of my favorite people I've known for almost 20 years.
That's awesome.
Kevin Waldschmidt's beautiful wife, Janel Waldschmidt, who is an amazing Pilates teacher and a trauma release therapist. And she has had unbelievable struggles where they thought she couldn't even walk again. And she has healed and repaired herself and is now helping others.
Yeah, and I know she's got a great story, too. Yeah. Can you give us just a brief idea of how you got into this and what happened?
Sure. Thank you for having me, first off. Sure. I had an accident when I was 17. I fell 42 feet into a ravine. And I ended up with a broken back. My lumbar was completely fractured, L2 completely shattered, pelvis and hip fractured, and all the ligaments in my right leg were pulled. It left me with some paralysis and excruciating pain. I went through 2 surgeries, basically to be told after the second surgery that I would be lucky to be pain-free. But that I would be dealing with pain for the rest of my life and possibly facing a third surgery because my spine was not fusing properly and stabilizing the way that they would like it to be. Mm-hmm. So I basically, after I got that information, I started to look for some different routes. Western medicine was phenomenal in the fact that they repaired my spine. I'm very grateful for them. But there was definitely some other stuff out there that I wanted to investigate. I became vegan. I pulled all the inflammation out of my body as much as I could through food. A lot of the medication that they wanted me to go on, I was very blessed with the fact that my body was not reacting well with it. So I decided to eliminate that as much as possible and look for alternative ways such as meditation, acupuncture, to start reducing some of the pain that I was experiencing with my body. So as I started to go into some of those modalities, I was grateful that my chiropractic, actually, which I wasn't allowed to do, but she does cranial sacral work. She had asked me to maybe try Pilates. She thought that'd be better than some of the stuff that I was doing at the time. So I decided to try it out. Mm-hmm. And as a result, working one-on-one with Pilates equipment, with a trainer, I, within 6 months, saw the first stabilization of my spine. Mm-hmm. I was starting to become pain-free. My flexibility was coming back. And within 1 year, I got released from my doctor that I had finally stabilized. Mm-hmm. So I continued my practice. And I decided that I was going to attempt to have kids, which I was told that if I did, it was going to be a very difficult situation for me. Mm-hmm. And I used Pilates through 2 children and recovered from both of my pregnancies with Pilates. Mm-hmm. And it was after that that I decided to become certified through Polestar and began to teach the work.
So one of the things I find interesting, because this is something that I think more and more people are becoming aware of, and that is the fact that utilizing the Western medicine aspect of physical therapy, the anti-inflammatories, I assume you were on anti-inflammatory medication.
Correct.
And so on and so forth, is more of after the fact of getting healed by Western medicine and, like you say, putting your back together, that almost Band-Aid effect of utilizing pharmaceutical chemicals and standard techniques just doesn't seem to really get to the point that you needed to get to.
Correct.
To be or feel healthy, right?
Correct. I absolutely felt like it was putting a Band-Aid over a symptom, and at some point that Band-Aid broke and I would have another symptom to take care of. But it was never really addressing the true healing of the body and the ability for the body to have different modalities. So I think that sometimes people, when we are injured, we focus so much on getting it fixed by one thing.
Right.
And what I realized is that there is a toolbox out there for everybody with a bunch of people in different professions that help aid and facilitate to healing the body.
Having a team.
And, like acupuncture, such as yourself, was, a huge saving grace for me.
It was wonderful to have you in.
Yes, it was very helpful.
Seeing you through both of your pregnancies.
Yes. It was a great experience. But I think that looking outside that box a little bit and trying stuff with your diet, trying stuff with alternative Eastern approaches, I think that people need to expand a little bit. And I'm not saying not to use Western, but to combine them both together, I think is such a great tool and
very important.
And we hear stories and stories and stories of this all the time, not only on the show, but I'm sure you hear about it in your practice all the time, Dr. Shasta.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people that we get the toughest of the tough because they've already done everything they could in the Western medicine.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Never thought
so
of that. That's a good point.
We get the people that the Western doctors couldn't help,
right.
And then we pull out everything we can from nutrition, herbs, supplements, acupuncture, qi yoga, qigong, and craniosacral and chiropractic, and the complementary and alternative medicine therapies that are out there, mainly from the older medicines, are very, very powerful.
Right.
And they're very underutilized in our country. And we have a huge opioid epidemic. And since this happened to you when you were 17, if you had taken to those drugs, there's a very high addiction rate with teenagers on these drugs.
Only imagine.
And once they get hooked, many people end up dying
right,
of overdoses within 2.5 years.
Exactly. And it was a number one question. I'm very grateful for my parents for that, because that wasn't their number one concern, is like, how many of these can she possibly take without being addicted?
Right.
And like I said, I was very fortunate. I mean, if you look at it that way, I got sick off of everything and I had reactions to everything. So I couldn't receive the benefits of even having that. They were worse.
So you had to look deeper.
So I had to look deeper into, okay, I can't take a pill to fix this.
Plus, don't painkillers cause certain types of inflammation too?
They cause they allow chronic pain syndrome to take place, which is even the body could even be healed, but the mind doesn't know it.
Right.
And you're in this constant fight or flight sympathetic nervous system state of pain.
And I think that's one thing people forget, how important the mind is to healing. And that is so lost, I think, in a lot of the Western medicine philosophy. Not that we don't need it. Obviously, we need doctors. I come from a family of doctors, you know.
Correct.
So
Western medicine
we have
is
to
awesome.
have that, and I like the way that you said that.
Right.
But I think that earlier on, a lot of people, rather than being the last resort, if people came to you
complementary in an integrative way,
and brought it together with it. And I think that's the biggest message that I want to get across, is that, you know, even Pilates is looked upon, you know, not as the exercise to do by most physical therapists. They refer a lot to yoga. They refer a lot to, you know, lifting weights and staying very strong in physical therapy, which serves a purpose. I was in physical therapy for 4 years. But I think that there's also that part that people can explore a little bit more and say, you know, okay, I'm gonna go and try this, and it's okay to try it and not feel, you know, like you're going against the grain by doing that.
And you had told us earlier that you were bedridden for 6 months in the hospital.
Yes.
And you were doing physical therapy, and it wasn't until you found the Pilates that you were able to stabilize your back.
Correct.
That's very powerful.
Yes.
And then you've said that these are the type of people that you're working with now, are these people who've had a lot of trauma and injury. And Pilates was made, as I know, for dancers in New York to be very specific and be able to do amazing things.
Right.
And so it is a very potent form of physical therapy.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting, too, just trying to figure out, I think a lot of us don't know a lot about what Pilates is. But, you know, the mechanics of how this works, I'm guessing a lot of it is stretching and so on and so forth, right?
It is. It's elongation of the muscles, but it's really about strengthening the deeper muscles. So you have your superficial, larger muscles, which we all utilize, and we use them on a daily basis. And what Pilates does is it strengthens the supporting muscles for the spine, the supporting muscles for the hips. So it goes deeper than the superficial muscles. And that's what creates the stabilization in the body, and that's what creates the core strength. And so that's what I found helped me in my journey.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back to talk about TRE. Have you considered a career change lately? Have you ever thought about helping people for a living? At Money Concepts International, we've been helping people do better with their finances since 1979. We've helped thousands of financial advisors throughout the world create and develop their own financial planning practices. Imagine being able to help your friends, your family, and complete strangers with doing better with their finances, sending their kids to college, being able to retire comfortably. If you've considered changing your career, talk to Charles Ham or myself at 408-946-8378. That's 408-946-8378. And attend one of our fabulous financial planning schools. Again, 408-946-8378. and have a career that helps people have better lives.
At Way of Wellness, we help to rebalance the hormones of your body so that it can heal itself. Way of Wellness offers acupuncture, Chinese medicine, functional nutrition, Qi yoga, and wellness coaching. Call 408-615-1995 and start living the life that keeps us well.
Double Hey, San Francisco Bay, Monterey. We're back with Your Healthy Living Show. My name's Alexandrew.
And I'm Dr. Shasta Tierra, and we're here with amazing Janel Waldschmidt, a certified Pilates instructor and a trauma release therapist, which we want to talk about in this segment.
You know what I think is really cool, because I never really thought of Pilates as being anything more than a stretching exercise, but in your case, it was really a healing exercise. And this TRE certification that you have, I think, is one of the things that really kind of pushed you further into wanting to help other people with that. Can
Correct.
you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So as much as I received benefits from Pilates and stabilization and everything, I still had some pain and some things that were happening that were triggering every once in a while, so not on a regular basis. And it was very suspicious to most, and I would ask a lot of my instructors about it. And they would say, well, you know what, you have nerve damage, so just it's okay. Well, I came across TRE and decided to go to it because it said that it helped tension in the lower back. And I went to my first workshop, and it was very different than what I had ever experienced. You will feel some tremoring in the body, and you look around at people next to you, and they are having tremors in their body once you go through this whole workshop. But when I was in the workshop, I was getting this pain in the spot that I was trying to tell people about that, you know, I would get randomly. So I left the workshop thinking, wow, that pain was coming on there and it was going. And I thought, well, maybe I'm going to mess something up and I'm going to be in pain tonight over this. But the pain never came back, and I went to sleep and actually went into a very, very relaxed, deep sleep. And I had a dream. And in the dream, I saw doctors standing over me, and I saw a drill. And I saw a drill kind of going into my left side where I was having this pain. And I shot up in the middle of the night, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, for them to operate on the lumbar for your surgery, they cut the psoas from the front and the back. And I never associated the two together at that time. Mm-hmm. And I realized that as I was having this TRE experience, I was releasing the trauma that my body experienced during surgery. And even as much as I was physically working on strengthening, stretching, trying to release this tension physically, my body still was holding an emotional store to the trauma that I had experienced during the fall.
So this is a mental thing in its essence, is what you're talking about. And we had talked about this just in the last segment about how the mind is so important in the healing process.
Right. Mind and body, yes. Yeah.
So you're having a trigger as a memory while you were, I guess, being operated on.
Right. But what's amazing with TRE is it is a bodily experience of releasing, and sometimes you will have an association with a memory or a past trauma that you can associate the release from. And then other times it's just your body saying, you know what, we don't need to discuss this. We just want this tension out of our body. We want this feeling out of our body, and it releases it naturally. So it takes away from the fact of I've had a lot of people that have come to me and they say, you know, is this like another therapy session? And it can be very valuable to work with a therapist during TRE, especially if you have certain levels of trauma. But a lot of the times you're able to release stuff that's in your body that you may not have remember, or you don't even maybe want to talk about.
And you were telling us how animals and that our natural inclination is when we have stress is to shake, and that it's very natural, and that we shouldn't suppress that. That's a way of getting the energy out so it doesn't store in our body, and that's part of what the TRE is some shaking and trembling and getting things out of your mind, body, and spirit.
It just seems so uncommonsensical if you think about it, because when you see people tremoring, you think they're losing their mind.
Correct.
Or that
and
they're
that's kind
dying
of right.
Right.
And that's kind of the social stigmatism that we have on it.
Right.
But if you look at it at a young age, you were okay to tremor. Babies tremor, they get scared. You'll see the little shaking happening.
It's true, right.
It's a natural response for the body, but as we get older, we suppress it because it's not looked upon in society as it's not as an acceptable thing.
So it's a release mechanism.
It's a release
really
mechanism.
Like in Qigong, they have a shaking.
Correct.
And in yoga, there's shaking.
Correct.
The older modalities had a shaking therapy that got the tension out of the nerves and the muscles. And
Okay, so I got a question here, just kind of popped into my mind. People who have anxiety and get that knot in their stomach, I'm wondering, is this something that might help them as far as a release mechanism for that anxious adrenaline flow that comes up with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a association from what I have seen and what has been reported with people that have a TRE practice, that they have less anxiety, that they have better sleep, that they have less tension in their lower back, in their neck area, also digestive things improve with them. So
you mentioned that the psoas muscle is the sympathetic fight or flight muscle that connects here and back to here.
Yes.
So when the low back pain, when people get stressed, that tightens up and gives them pain.
Right.
But what you're saying is what you have can help release that emotional part.
Release
to
it.
help
This
deal
is
with
so
the pain.
cool. I wish we had more time today, but Janel, can you give us an idea if somebody wants to touch base with you and how they can get a hold of you and what your website is and, that kind of thing?
Yes, so you can go on to almadenpilates.com, and it has all my information on there, including the TRE information. If you want to research TRE a little bit more, it's founded by Dr. David Berselli, and you can go on to TRE.com, Tension Trauma Release Exercise. You can look up his information, all of his research, and everything that he's done to bring practitioners such as myself to be able to teach this. And if you would like to reach me, again, it's almadenpilates.com.
Great, and I'm going to go check that out. What's TRE stand for one more time?
Tension Trauma Release Exercise. So it can be tension release exercise or trauma release exercise. You'll see it both ways.
Cool. Thank you so much, Janel, for being on the
Very
program.
inspiring.
Janel Waldschmidt.
Yes.
We've had 2 Waldschmidts on the show
Kevin
now.
was great too.
This is great. My name's Alexandrew.
And I'm Dr. Shasta.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.